Hey guys, it's Julian, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make Bristol Techno in the style of Batu, Bruce, and Pangaea, sort of the Hessel audio style of sound. As usual, you can get the full project file and samples and MIDI and presets. All of the stuff from this video is available right at the top of the description, and if you're a patron on my Patreon, check there, because it's already available, and yeah, here we go. So this is the loop you heard in the intro. We're at 127 BPM. The first sound we have here is the lead, which sounds like this. So here's the MIDI for this. You can see it's pretty simple. It's just 3 notes, and then we're just kind of playing around with those 3 notes rhythmically and making them sort of like, play off of the beat. So yeah, you can see it's just C sharp and then G sharp. So the root note, we're in C sharp minor. So yeah, C sharp, the root note, and then G sharp, the 5th. And then the only other note is just this G here, which creates this sort of like uneasy feeling, because if we did that, you can hear it like a different pitch. It's a little bit different, but when you put it just 1 note down from the 5th, you get that kind of more machine-like sort of feel. It's a little bit less musical and more rhythmic, but still very catchy. And also, like I said, this is only 3 notes, so that's something you want to keep in mind. Like, use as few notes as possible, and it'll be a lot more memorable when you're making this style of a track. It's a lot easier to hum than it would be, think even if we added 1 more note in there, it would kind of break it up. But having it be really simple like this, there we go. And then for the sound, this one's made with analog. What it is it's a saw wave and a square wave. You can see I've got those an octave apart. I've also got a little bit of white noise, and those are going into a low pass. You can see the low pass has a super short envelope on it. It's meant to just be like a quick little bloop. It's not meant to be too long. Then we get the amp envelope set like this, also really short. And then finally, I just have a bit of vibrato, which you can see is really fast, actually. So you can hear that just kind of gives it like that uneasy sort of feel. If I turn that off, it adds a lot of texture to the sound. Then we also have a bit of unison. After that, we have this echo, just doing quarter notes. You can see it's kind of like a longer, more held out delay, so it gives it a lot of space, and also gives it a little bit of rhythm with the pattern, as you can hear. Then we have a bit of chorus just to spread the sound out. I have a bit of reverb to make it a bit bigger. There's without versus with the reverb, so you can hear that adds a lot. It's not a long reverb, but it's still adding a lot. And then finally, we just have a bit of drum bass to fatten it up. Here's without that. And then with it. And then I have a high pass filter. And that's it for the lead. After that, we have the low end, which is made up of the kick and this bass tom, and it sounds like this. So the first layer we have is the kick. And this is made using 2 layers. What we have here is we have this kick. I'll play you the original sample. So there's how it is in the mix. There's the original kick. You can hear, just like kind of a very punchy but much deeper sort of sample. And then we have that layered in with a 909 kick. And then what's happening here is you can see we have this EQ3. So I've got on the first kick, we're using just the lows. So I'm just using this for that fat thump. And then on the 909, we're using just the mids and highs. And then when you use the EQ3 like this, it's really easy to layer, because, if we try to do this with an EQ, like a EQ8, you can see, let's say on this one, we cut there. And then on this one, we try to literally just have it be, like, the opposite cut. See how there's, that little down there, and then that little slope? So that's where you're going to miss some frequencies. However, when you use EQ3, it doesn't do this. It's literally just a hard cut. So it's really easy to layer things together this way because you can take just the mids and highs from one layer, just the lows from another layer, and then there you go, you have a new kick. And yeah, it's really easy with this instrument rack here. And then on both of those at the same time, I just have a bit of drum bus to glue them together. It makes it hit a bit more. And like I said, you know, it really glues the two samples and makes them feel like one. Here's without it. And then with it. So you can hear what that's doing. And yeah, after that, we have the bass tom, which sounds like this. So this is your standard sort of 808 style tom. This is used a lot for the bass lines in these style of tracks. Like the style of drums and sort of, I guess, rhythm section in general is like a very percussive and rigid sounding sort of electronic drum sound set. So like, you know, you can hear that with all these other drums here too. And this bass tom is no different. It's literally just like an 808 style tom. And then it's just like the kind of notes you put in. You can see it's only one note, but then it's very rapid, as you can hear. You know, it's happening constantly, and it's really moving the groove forward. If I turn this off, you can see how important this is. And then I just have a little bit of drum bus on that to make it a bit fatter. And then on the group of the kick and bass, I have just a bit of saturation just to kind of put them closer together. Here's without it. And then with it. So you can hear what that's doing. Just gives it that subtle little like kind of glue and pushes them together a little. After that we have the clap, which sounds like this. You can see this one's just like this kind of, you know, short but very fat and punchy clap sample. Got it going through a bit of drum bus. And yeah, pretty simple. The main thing to keep in mind with this one is, again, just like the type of sound that you're choosing. You know, you want this very like quick and drum machine-esque high clap. After that we have this little percussion stuff down here, which sounds like this. So the first layer is just this little electronic percussion. Just plays like that. Then we have this ride. And you'll notice with this one, the detail here is like the first note's a little bit shorter and the second note's a little bit longer. And it just does it. So it's like. So yeah, something to pay attention to, you know, when you're making these kind of patterns. Definitely want to make sure you get that little detail. And then finally we have the noise percussion, which sounds like this. So what this is it's some white noise. And then just going into a bandpass filter. The bandpass has an envelope on it to make it that quick, like plucky kind of sound like you hear. Got a little bit of a shaper on that. And then I have an LFO on the filter, just kind of moving it so that it's, you know, never the same thing twice. And it's constantly changing. And then after that we have an auto pan just to give it like that moving kind of stereo feel. I hear this in a lot of these tracks. And it really helps to set this apart too, as you can hear in the mix. So yeah, we got that, and then finally we just have a bit of drum bus just to fatten the sound up. And this really helps also when you're making synth percussion like this. It can really get it away from that like dry synth sound and really make it feel more like some actual percussion. And yeah, that's it for the noise percussion. Then after that we have the hi-hats, which sound like this. So the first one we've got here is this closed hi-hat, which sounds like this. So what this is it's this type of like 808 style hi-hat, you know, very drum machine-esque. And then what's happening is I have it going through a chorus here. And so you can see when we turn that feedback up, I'll turn the feedback down and then turn it up so you can hear what happens. See how when you turn it up, you get that like metallic oscillation? That's what we're doing here. And this just adds that like metallic kind of sound. It really helps to make this stand out in the mix. And you know, it's also just bringing this to life too, because without this, you know, it is just kind of like a simple hi-hat. But then this gives the sound some life. And if we turn the feedback up too high, yeah, that's a little bit too much, but there is perfect. Then I have an auto pan. This is giving us some movement, so now we have two things panning around. So the mix is going to sound a lot bigger now when you have elements like this panning around. Then we just have a bit of saturation to fatten it up. And then finally I have a high pass filter, just because there was a little bit of low end in this sound I wanted to cut out. And yeah, that's it for the closed hi-hat. And then after that, we just have this open hi-hat. You know, pretty simple one with this, you can see. Just a bit of drum bus on it. This one's just playing on the upbeats. If I turn this off, you can hear. You really want to have something like that to give it that full intensity. And then finally, we just have this 909 hi-hat. And this one's just going... And with that one, we just have a bit of saturation. And yeah, so that's it for the hi-hats. You can see the attention and detail that goes in there, though, because, like, you know, if we just did the closed hi-hat and the open hi-hat, it's not quite as powerful as when you have that 909. Like that at the start of every half note. Yeah, so that's me for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video, as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get the full project file and samples and MIDI and presets. Everything from this video is available right at the top of the description, and if you're a patron on my Patreon, check there. It's already available. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.